The streets of Azerbaijan's capital city plays host to the final round of the FIA GT Series as racing comes to Baku. At the previous round in Spain, Sebastian Loeb started his McLaren on pole position. Coming up into turn 5, there was drama as championship leader Stefan Ortelli was pushed to the back of the field. He managed to rejoin, but meanwhile there was more bumping and boring in the middle of the pack. The Mercedes and the BMW coming to blows, and then once again, this time Alain Coder being spun out by Alan Day, and that caused the BMW some terminal damage, whilst Day had another spin by himself. There were some great battles throughout the pack, but Karun Chandok lost it all by himself, bouncing into the gravel in his Vita for One Racing BMW Z4. Racecraft allowed Niki Meyer-Melnhof to make up 2 places after contact in front of him, but it was the Sebastian Loeb Racing McLarens that were running first and second at the front of the order. There were battles between the Nissan as well. Steve Doherty wanted to come into the pits, but couldn't make it because his teammate was there. A close shave for Alvaro Parente as he exited the pit lane. Meanwhile in Pro-Am, it was the 2 Mercedes leading the way. Marc Basseng then lost 2 places in 1 lap. Firstly Wolfgang Reip around the outside of the first corner, and then René Rast getting past him, much to Niki Meyer-Melnhof's delight. Laurens Vanthoor then had to retire the championship-leading Audi, which left the path clear for Sebastian Loeb and Alvaro Parente to take victory for the first time in a main race all season. But at the top of the championship, there's only a 5-point gap between the 2 Audis. Leading the championship is the WRT Audi of Stefan Ortelli and Laurens Vanthoor. Ortelli knows how to win championships, having been in these positions before.
I feel pretty much comfortable. You know, we are here fighting with our sister car. It can't be better than that. I think it's great that we are with Azerbaijan. We are able to build such a track and having a final here. I think it's part of the excitement. It's always a bit different when it's new, but we have to learn from every session. Having 4 cars in WRT team is a strong asset.
Only 5 points behind is the 13 WRT Audi of Frank Stippler and Edvard Sandström. But despite the pressure, Stippler seems fairly relaxed.
We're still in the game, we will fight hard. Everything can happen here on the street circuit. There are many gas starters. It's still a dirty track, but it will improve, so a lot of exciting things to happen. We are a little bit more relaxed than usual, but I would prefer if it was our car. If it is the other car, we are still fine with it. The main target was that an Audi will win the championship, and that's the case.
Marc VDS bring a BMW this weekend to make their FIA GT Series debut. Maxime Martin and Nicky Katzberg at the wheel. They're here having won the team's championship in the Blancpain Endurance Series.
I think everybody wants to be here. Special event, of course. A lot of good drivers, a lot of good teams, and I think Marc VDS wants to be here as well. It's going to be difficult. There's some long straights. With our engine power, of course, that's going to be difficult. But the BMW has been good all season, so I think it will be good here as well.
Ex-Formula 1 driver Thierry Boutsen has helped organise this event, and he's also brought his team along with 2 McLarens. In one of them is McLaren young driver Stoffel van Dorn.
It's going to be my first event in the FIA GT. The team Boutsen Gignon Racing asked me if I wanted to join them. I raced in World Series at Monaco. That was my first event there, but it went well. I was quickest in free practice, so I'm looking forward to driving on the streets again. I think it's going to be a very nice circuit to drive on.
Track Speed Porsche have brought 2 997s this weekend after their success in the British GT Championship this season. Nick Tandy and Marco Holzer are one impressive lineup.
I've never been here before, so I said I have to do this race, and saw the videos from last year to really have to do this race. All street courses are good for our cars. We have the the engine on the rear, so I think we have a lot of grip on exit. It looks really fast. With 30 cars here, it will be really good racing.
As well as Grasser Racing Lamborghini regulars Dominik Baumann and Harry Procik, there's another car out, filled with two Slovakians, Filip Sledeka and race winner this season, Stefan Rasina.
I always sort of wanted to participate in this race also as a Slovak team, because I think before it has never happened, and we will see how it will go. I think it's going to be quite challenging, as well as if you look at the field of the drivers that are here, it's quite good that we can participate in such event.
Another team debuting in the FIA GT Series this weekend is Fortec Motorsport. Their one Mercedes SLS entry will be piloted by Benji Hetherington and Ollie Webb.
Looks like a really quick track. That'll suit our car a bit more. Tight and twisty, I think, will suit the Porsches a little bit more. Very nimble, very quick, whereas we've got quite a good top-end speed, so we're hoping for quick, fast track, which this tends to be. For a street circuit, it's nice to see that.
Callaway Racing have brought a Corvette to Baku this weekend. Daniel Kilvitz is one of the drivers, a man who's made his FIA GT Series debut already this season, but alongside him is newcomer Jeroen Bleekemolen.
It's not so easy to predict. I think there are many good teams and drivers out there, so it's going to be very close competition, but it's very narrow, lots of chicanes, so hopefully the car likes it, but yeah, you need a car that fits the track well. That's the main thing in GT3, I think, so hopefully we'll have that, and then yeah, we hope to fight at the front, of course.
Leading the Pro-Am standings is the HTP Motorsport Mercedes of Andreas Simonsen and Sergei Afanasyev. And despite their advantage, Afanasyev knows they need to keep their wits about them.
We'll have some gap, but anyway, you never know. It's a championship, it's a nice fight. The main thing, you compete, you fight for it, and you do the best what you can. It's an amazing place, it's an amazing circuit. It's really interesting, it's really exciting, it's the first time here, and will bring a lot of fun for the spectators and for us as well.
Federico Leo is joining Claudio Stanisvich in the AF Corsa Ferrari this weekend. Leo knows his way around a Ferrari, having won the GT3 European Championship in 2011.
I'm with the gentleman class with Claudio Stanisvich. I think we can do very well. We will have fun, I'm sure, in this track because it seems very nice. And the first race for me, the FIA this year. So I don't know how it's Ferrari in the FIA, but last races in Michele Rugolo did very good. So I think we can do very well.
Good morning, everybody, I should say, because it's still morning here in Baku on this street circuit along the capital streets of Azerbaijan. My name is Jack Nichols. Alongside me is John Watson to talk you through the final race day of the 2013 FIA GT Series. The Azerbaijani national anthem is playing at the moment, and as you can see, the crowd have all got their flags out. There are a lot of flags around in Azerbaijan, both in the stands and also the biggest flying flag in the world on the national flag square that I'm sure we'll get a shot of because you really can't miss it. Here's the track. There you can see the start line down to the first chicane, down towards turn 3, then you come back up through another chicane, out into the old city for a bit before you rejoin the dual carriageway, pile down to the hairpin at turn 13, then back up towards the final corner at 16. 4.4 kilometers long, 16 corners, a lot of undulation as well. You can really see it on that track map. The run from that first corner down towards the chicane and the hairpin is quite dramatic. It's a fantastic view, the drivers are saying. When they drive down, they can see the skyline in front of them. Phenomenal. So the race gets underway behind the safety car because of the tricky conditions here in Azerbaijan. Some nerves in the pit lane. There's Niki Melnov. The reason is his teammate starting on pole position. And that's all sorts of emotions there going through Niki. But here we go then. Safety car in this lap. The lights should be off on the safety car. The clock has already started, so it'll be 52 minutes of racing. We've still got our mandatory pit stop window between 25 and 35 minutes into the race. But here comes René Rast, about to get racing underway on the streets of Baku. The safety car pulls into the pits, and we're racing in Azerbaijan. The final weekend of the FIA GT Series sees René Rast lead across the line. Close behind him is Laurens Vanthoor. Third position is Stef Dusseldorp, but already they've made a good break, those two Audis, as they come down into the chicane for the first time. Side by side behind, trying to make an early move is Kevin Estra, and he manages to get past Stoffel Vanthorn and up into 6th place.
Good move, clean move down the inside, took the opportunity. Perhaps maybe slightly caught unawares, nevertheless a good, bold, positive move from Kevin Estra in the McLaren to take one position.
So they come through turn 3 and then head out into the backstretch for the first time at racing speed. There you can see the green flags being waved. Up into third position is Steph Dusseldorfer, holding on to that third position, I should say, but he's got challenging coming up behind him. Looks as though Marco Holtz has made a good start as well in the Porsche. He's starting to close in on Stoffel Vandoorne in front of him. Then we've got the two BMW Brazil cars as they all make their way now up to the left-hander of turn 8, which has been catching a lot of people out this weekend. Will they all get through safely this time around? The first few have, at least. The two BMW Team Brazil cars going nose to nose. That is Jimenez ahead of Bueno in 9th and 10th places. Now through this flick at turns 11 and 12, where if you take too much, you will be in trouble with the stewards. But, I mean, you can't penalise everyone, can you, as the BMWs fly through. René Rast is comfortably the quickest man of anyone in sectors 1 and sectors 2. He's building up his advantage at the front of the field.
Yeah, he did actually, through that sequence, turns 4, 5 and 6, looked like Laurens van Voor had closed down the gap, but now back as they climb up the hill all the way up to the final chicane. We see that the gap is now opened back up again, and René Rast getting his momentum, getting that principally the confidence that he needs, and to show the kind of pace that he showed in qualifying, that blinding lap where he ended up being just over a second quicker than the Ortelli Laurens van Voor car, which is currently in second.
So here they come across the line. It's Audi followed by Audi, and then a McLaren, a BMW. Three more McLarens in a row then, as they come out down towards turn 3. The two Audis have definitely made a break up at the front, and this will be, unfortunately, I think this would put Niki Mermanov out of contention for the championship overall. And look at this is a replay of a good move being made there. In fact, impressive stuff, although I think to a certain extent that was lappery taking place, the 44 MRS GT car of Oliver Turvey getting passed by Andreas Simerson, but I think that was being lapped after it had been into the pit lane. All cars must respect track limits has just been announced on the timing screen. Steph Dusseldorf has just done the fastest first sector of anyone. Whoa, well, look at this, it's all getting busy here, isn't it? On the run down into the right-hander, this is a queue from 12th backwards. It's Danny Watts at the head of it in the Porsche.
See Sandstrom tries to get alongside, down the inside of Amon Muller. This time he's got on and he's made it stick.
Good move from Edward Sandstrom, then that promotes him up into 14th position, which is an extra spot on the grid for the race later on. And look at this, Amon Muller about to be attacked by Benji Hetherington, but of all the places to make a move, that probably isn't one of them, and that could compromise Hetherington actually, with Harry Prochik behind. This is all a battle ultimately with Amon Muller over 15th position, then 16th Hetherington, 17th and 18th for two Grasser Racing Lamborghinis as they come up to the left-hander of turn 8. And here's a replay of the move, John.
Yeah, he went tight to the barrier on the left-hand side, down into the hairpin bend. Amon Muller gave the room. Was there contact?
Yeah, I think there was.
There was. That was Benji Hetherington managed to tag the back of Amon Muller's Audi. Race leaders, fastest lap.
Look at that.
1 minute 46.183.
5.2 seconds.
Well, you consider the circumstances the track was in before this event got underway. It is clearly now coming much more to the drivers. The dampness that we saw on certain parts of the track is disappearing, but undoubtedly it is still a slippery racetrack. These cars, of course, have got an hour's worth of fuel on board as opposed to what they would have been running when they were in qualifying, where they were running a lower level, which was always dissipating. So René Rast has opened up a 5.2 second gap over Laurens van Voor.
There is Danny Watts, pulled off the circuit. And he climbs out of the car, and that's a real shame.
Well, what they're saying now is Maxime Martin has got the fastest sector time in sector 3, so 3 different drivers got fastest sector times.
There's our second place car, third, fourth coming through, Maxime Martin on a bit of a mission, and Kevin Estre has just set the fastest first sector of anyone, a 53.0, half a second quicker than René Rast. Then he's gone fastest as well in the middle sector, so you can really see he's dropped back, and now he'll have the advantage of taking a run-up on
side
the
by
leaders.
side. I think the Hexus car got past the Alvaro Parent as they came out of turn 13. There were two McLaren side by side.
Good spot.
Yes. That last one didn't do me any harm at all last night.
Into turns 14 to 15.
Sliding the back of the car. Now, Alvaro Parent does not give up positions very easily. Kevin Estre has been very, very racy indeed.
Here's the replay. Oh, Parent went wide.
He made a mistake.
Yeah.
Made a mistake. that was pressure. Kevin Estre was putting a lot of pressure on Alvaro Parente, and it's rare to see the Portuguese driver make it or get it wrong like that.
Danny Watts shaking his head, shrugging his shoulders. What can I do? Here's battles going on. This is Michael Ammermuller doing battle with Benji Hetherington, and Hetherington goes past on the exit. Oh, but he's gone straight over at the chicane now. Over to you, race steward Watson.
Well, I would say the pass was made before they got to the chicane, so therefore he shouldn't have to hand it back.
The battles continue. This is all over second place in Pro-Am. And, well, we've got Pitters then. We've got Steph Dusseldorp and Maxime Martin have come in. So that's very interesting. Third and fourth place cars, and they're right in the pits together. So this is Dusseldorp right near us. He's going to be handing over to his teammate Alexander Sims. Mark VDS right behind. Maxime Martin handing over to Nick Katzberg. Oh, it's the McLaren who's still out in front.
Very close, good teamwork pit work by both teams. So Alexander Sims climbs into the McLaren, and he's on his way. And I'm surprised that BMW brought Maxime Martin in, bearing in mind that he is Mr. GT of all drivers, and they let Nicky Katzberg's behind the wheel for this remaining 33.5 minutes of this qualifying race.
I wonder if their plan was to jump them in the pit stops and get them in early, and the McLaren, the Roots and Gignon team kind of covered that off. Oh look, can't get out there. That's trouble for, well, not Marco Holzer, he's handed over now to Nick Tandy. They're having to pull the Porsche back in order to get it out.
Yeah, well, I mean, the pit lane is a little bit on the tight side with 27 cars in this race. Nevertheless, it's just unfortunate that they had to go through that little routine and lost more time as the Porsche now actually goes out of the pit lane. There you see it just behind what was the Ammermuller Audi. Overtaking down into 1 and 2 cars on the flying lap. That's Kevin Estre, I think.
Yes, exactly. And Estre had closed right into the back of Laurens Vanthoor in the battle over second place by setting some quick lap times. Look at this, it's going to get tasty. Nick Tandy trying to get past Cesar Campanico as they come into the left-hander. Kevin Estre's trying to go around the outside. He's not going to have much grip out there, is he? No. The back end steps out, keeps it all together, but this is really bad news for Kevin Estre's chances, because he's now going to be stuck behind these slower cars. But the same is true of Laurens Vanthoor. He's out behind one of the Lamborghinis that's pitted. Somewhere in the, I think it's Stefan Racina. So we'll wait and see how this all shakes out in a few moments. But the bad news is for Kevin Estre, he was going very, very quickly as Sebastian Loeb heads out of the pits, but now he's got the traffic to contend with. Oh, and off there, that's the 52 car, sorry, that's the 25 car, Dominic Baumann and Harry Procek in the wall on the exit of turn 9. I'm not sure who's at the wheel of that at the moment.
It's got to be a safety car, because is that off?
That's the exit of, it's Harry Procek, it's the exit of turn 9.
Yep.
But René Rast still out in the lead of the race. The yellow flags covering that incident at the moment, because it depends on whether Harry Procek can get out of the tyre barriers himself, and unsurprisingly,
into the pits, René Rast.
He comes in to hand over to Nicky Melnoff. So who is now going to be in that net third position? Will Kevin Estre have managed to leapfrog Sims and Katzberg in the pits? That Hexus McLaren could have timed its pit stop to absolute perfection. We'll wait and see. Nicky Melnoff then through the left-hander, past the tree, and into the pit stop then. Nicky Melnoff ready to take over, and he climbs. He's got a new helmet, I think, Nicky, for this weekend. René Rast hands over the car. WRT very quick with their pit stops. They've been consistently the quickest all year. And look, there is Kevin Estre. He has managed to get past, I think. That's Alexander Sims behind him. So Kevin Estre is up, once everything shakes out, into third position.
Indeed, I mean, I've not seen Kevin Estre drive a GT car before. I've seen all the others, and he is doing an outstanding job. But he makes a mistake
now.
Oh, he's got sideways. To drag up the hill, he's managed to consolidate the position. Alexander Sim didn't get the momentum to carry him alongside. And
it's Rob Bell, of course, at the wheel now,
yes,
I should say. But yeah, so it's Rob Bell who is up into that third place, and it looks as though the safety car is being deployed. It's just pulled away from in front of my window, and so the safety car is out now.
Oh, there's damage to that car, and I don't think that's going to continue, because certainly the bodywork damage, whether the suspension or steering damage. Harry Procek, of course, he couldn't really get out of the car easily without having to clamber across and get out on the passenger side, which of course would mean getting out on the side. where traffic was approaching.
And that may well be the end of Harry Procek's challenge for the Pro-Am category. Pit stop window closed. In comes Michael Ammermuller, and I think his team and his team boss, Cesar Campanico, who's also his co-driver, might have a word or two with him. Let's see how gently Campanico pulls him out of the car.
Only Michael Ammermuller could do that.
Yeah.
It's unnecessary, but there we are.
No conversation at all between them, so we'll wait and see, but they'll no doubt have to serve a penalty. So Nicky Mermanov leads the way in the number 12 Audi. Stefan Ortelli is second in the number 11 Audi. The third place car is Rob Bell. Now Sergei Afanasyev is up into fourth place. Superb pit work from the HTP Gravity Charoux squad means that that Pro-Am car is up into fourth position. Afanasyev and Simonson, they qualified way down in 14th place, but they timed the pit stop perfectly, and they're now fourth. There we saw René Rast, his teammate, watching on, and he's caught right up to the back of the safety car, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was maybe a little bit of inexperience at Nicky's part. He didn't need to run so close to the safety car. He should have let it pull away on the run up to 15 and 16, and then once the safety car had gone, he should then have, in my view, chosen to do something he didn't do. In other words, he was almost on the tail of the safety car. We should have been much further back.
But we've got racing back underway here at Baku. Is that a move being made by Markus Winkelhock, or no, it's defense? No, it is him going past Ricardo Zonta. Car 18 under investigation. Oh, this is going to be contact down here, surely. The Mark VDS BMW getting nerfed in the back by Sebastian Loeb. Both of them now might be able to force their way past Sergei Afanasyev. Certainly Katzberger's got through. He's past Afanasyev, but nothing that Loeb could do about it. It all got very, very close down there.
3 into 1 wasn't going to go down into turn 3.
And now Loeb is coming under pressure from Frederic Verviche behind him. Not really an overtaking opportunity into turn 8. But that was a good move from Markus Winkelhock to get him into 12th place past Ricardo Zonta. They now come out through turn 9 and back out onto the dual carriageway. The top 4 of 5 really breaking clear, but then there's the cue from Loeb back to Verviche and Bueno. Here's the replay.
Yeah, it's just down the
inside. So sorry, there was the move being made in front.
Yeah.
That's what sent the Mercedes wide. I didn't spot that. That was Alexander Sims going past Afanasyev. That's what put the Mercedes out wide and allowed all the attacks going on behind.
Yeah. But the pace of Rob Bell, currently the quickest car on the track on that last lap, in third place. Now he's lost time to Maya Melnov. He's now 2.2 seconds behind, a further second behind Ortelli in the second place Audi.
But here comes the challenge, surely, from Sebastian Loeb down into turn 3. Great traction off the corner. This is the battle over 6th position. The Mercedes covers the inside line. Loeb thinks about it, isn't quite close enough. And oh, there's contact. The red flag's come out, though. The red flag has come out here in Baku because we've got an incident there in the chicane. So there's a car off in the chicane. The cars are waved through. Is that? I think it's an Audi. It's definitely an Audi. I wonder.
It's not Winkelhock.
I wonder if it's Campanico. It looks like Campanico to me.
Yes, it is.
Yep. Cesar ends what has been a difficult race for the Audis. For this particular Audi, anyway. The Audis up at the front are having a great time, but there we can see Cesar Campanico being towed away, and that has brought the red flag out, and that's the problem with the lack of margin for error. That's Zuba.
Is that Loeb coming?
Zuba in the sister car. So the car that started didn't start the race because it had problems, has been out for a bit of a test run and then pulled back into the pits. We're about to get racing underway once more here in Baku. That little chicane at 4, 5 and 6 was always going to be a danger zone, and it has proved to be the case, but
actually that's the only incident that's occurred there over the 2 days of running.
And it was by a man who was probably pretty annoyed at his teammate having just not bothered to come into the pits for the pit stop window. So away they pull behind the safety car, 1 lap behind the safety car, and then racing will start. Here's Nicky Mermanov then. The safety car has pulled in, and Mermanov has gone for it through the chicane. Green flags are waving, but look at Rob Bell in that third position in the Hexus McLaren. He's right up behind Stefan Ortelli as they come through the left-hander and start the race again.
this is going to be Rob Bell in maximum attack. Not close enough to do it coming down into turns 1 and 2, but he's right on the gearbox as they come out of the chicane of the Audi. Can he get himself into position? I'll tell you, you can see he goes to the middle of the racetrack. Going offline has always been a problem because it's slightly dirtier, but look.
Here comes Loeb trying to get past Sergei Afanasiev. This time he gets the job done coming down into the hairpin at turn 3. Afanasiev's going to get a bit of a nudge here, I think, from Caca Bueno, because the Brazilians like a bit of pushing around here. And now Marcus Vingelock is attacking Frederic Verviche. He needs to be careful though, because he's got Nick Tandy right up behind him. Great battling between those guys as they weave through 4, 5 and 6, then right out into the old city. Vingelock's dropped back a little bit now from the back of Verviche. Flashing up Mikhail Uzanov Street. Into turn 8.
Nick Tandy was following in the tail of the Winkelhock Audi.
You feel if Rob Bell could get past Ortelli, he'd be putting Matt Mounthoff under pressure in these closing stages. We haven't got long to go. Black and orange flag for car 52.
Rob Bell came, I don't know, he got wide coming out of turn 10 up there, and he went very, very aggressive over the curbs. You could see the...
Oh! And that was a lock-up from Ollie Webb running too wide. I'm not sure if there was contact there or if that was just a bounce in the road. That was a strange one. But look,
it's called a hip and shoulder.
Here comes Rob Bell right on the back now of Stefan Ortelli. Up the hill, he's going to run this battle. And Ortelli's having to push super hard because Bell is right up behind him. Bell is really good through that chicane. You could see it from that camera angle beautifully. Now he's got the chance as they come down towards turn 3. Ortelli covers the inside line. Bell will look to the outside, but it's so dirty out there, he'll have no chance of getting through. Nose back to the inside, nothing he can do, but you could see from that shot, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, Ortelli struggled coming through the chicane, the first chicane, turns 2 and 3, and that's what gave Rob Bell the momentum to get up alongside, but Ortelli knows how to defend, and he put his car in the middle of the road, and it was going to be tight either side for Rob Bell to go down the inside on the very dirty bit of the line, or take the option of staying out to the right, but not being able to make the cutbacks they came into turn 3.
Rene Rast did a superb job in qualifying to take pole position. Mayer Melnoff has done a superb job to consolidate the lead. Ortelli's been right up behind him all of the stint, but Nicky Mayer Melnoff, the Austrian driver, has held on. He comes through the final corner and wins in Baku. Great drive from Nicky Mayer Melnoff. Ortelli finishes second. Rob Bell in the Hexus McLaren holds on to that third spot. It's fourth for Alexander Sims, fifth for Nicky Katzberg and Mark VDS BMW, sixth place for Sebastian Loeb, and it's a 1-2 for WRT Audi. Here's the results, 1.2 seconds between them over the line, but Mayer Melnoff slowed down to take the checker flag with joy. Second place for Stefan Ortelli and Laurence Van Thor. Hexus McLaren finishing third. Great to see them performing so well on their final GT outing. Kevin Estre, for me, driver of the race. Absolutely superb drive from the Frenchman, the 2013 German Porsche Carrera Cup champion. Alexander Sims and Steph Dusseldorp finishing in fourth place, with the Mark VDS BMW of Nick Katzberg and Maxime Martin finishing in fifth position. Championship challengers Stippler and Sandstrom only 8th position. Vingelock and Eid also from the back of the grid to 10th place. Super driving from both Enzo and predominantly Marcus Vingelock in that second stint. Nick Tandy and Marco Holzer, I think, will be disappointed they couldn't make more progress. Frederic Verviche and Stoffel Van Dorn dropped back. They started the race in 7th place, finished it in 12th, and were running as high as 5th, I think, at one point after the retirement of Mike Parisi and Andreas Zuber. What a shame for them as well, because they were all set to line up 4th on the grid. It would have been great to see them getting involved. 13th position from the back of the grid for Max Buch and Alan Day. That'll give them encouragement going into the main race this afternoon. Patrick Kuhner and Matej Stump finishing second in Pro-Am after Sergei Afanasiev and Andreas Simonsen for the HTP Motorsport Gravity Charoux squad won the Pro-Am category with their 7th place overall finish. Both of them over the moon. And that keeps Nicky Mayer Melnoff in the hunt for the championship as well. It's Nicky Mayer Melnoff and Rene Rast who take the spoils. A glorious day on the shores of the Caspian Sea seems to be an appropriate way to end the FIA GT Series. We're on the streets of Baku, the capital city of Azerbaijan, for the title decider of the 2013 championship. And the man who is the organiser of the FIA GT Series, the CEO of the SRO organisation, Stefan Rattel, is with John.
It's an exceptional event, a beautiful city, a great weather, one of the most beautiful and competitive grids we've had in years. And all I can hope is, first of all, that we have a good and safe race, and second of all, that we can make it a classic.
Have you any tips for who might be the champion in the Pro Cup?
I mean, a champion, it looks like it's going to be a WRT car. For this race, I think the McLaren, the Axis McLaren, has shown great performance in the first race, so I think there will be a serious contender. I mean, the Mark VDS BMW is not far behind either, so I mean, it's going to be a very interesting show.
Here's a look at the starting grid for the final race of the season. It's Mayer, Melnoff and Ortelli on the front row, both in WRT Audis. The second row of the grid sees Rob Bell alongside Alexander Sims. Two McLarens, different teams, Hexis and Boots and Ginion. Nicky Katzberg is fifth in the BMW Z4. Alongside him is the Pro-Am pole position car of Sergei Afanasiev. Frank Stippler and Edward Sandstrom starting in seventh position, just ahead of the Brazilian BMW of Alain Coder. So we're starting to go 2 by 2. Nicky Mayer-Melnoff slows them down as they come towards the final corner. When they're all lined up and in position, the race will be underway. It'll be a rolling start. It's WRT Audis on the front row of the grid. Ortelli's a little bit behind Nicky Mayer-Melnoff. He gets up alongside now as we wait for the lights to go out here in Baku. It's going to be a challenge to see them. We go green now on the run down to the first corner. It's a good start from Nicky Mayer-Melnoff, but Ortelli's got a great start as well. He's pulling alongside as they come down to turn one. Ortelli leads. There's contact in the middle of the pack. The BMWs are involved. One of the HTP Gravity Charoux Mercedes is involved as well. Oh, there's debris flying everywhere. Everyone somehow survived, but Ortelli it is who's in the lead of the race defending. We go on board with Sebastian Loeb down into the hairpin of turn 3. He tries to send it to the outside. Oh, the BMW spun on the inside. That's Alain Coder facing backwards in the middle of the pack. Everyone takes avoiding action, and Alain Coder will have dropped right to the back of the pack. An action-packed start, but Stefan Ortelli is right where he wants to be, in the lead of the race and the lead of the championship.
Absolutely, the key thing for the two Audis was to get clear of the rest of the pack. We saw the Mercedes of Sergei Afanasiev coming down the outside, also Sebastian Loeb, just quite simply 27 cars on a charge, as we saw there. Starting
Marcus Finkelhock. Marcus Finkelhock's in third position. What a phenomenal start.
Street racing throws up.
Problem for Rob Bell in the Hexis. A front right puncture, I think, for Rob Bell in the Hexis Racing McLaren. That's a real shame if that turns out to be the case. Okay, there was a bit of bumping and boring, but everyone is pretty much safely through.
Yeah, but we've now got a race of two fields. The first half of the field is pretty clear. The rest of the field got congested. First of all, down in turns 1 and 2 in the chicane, then down in turn 3, we're getting further action.
Also problem for Mark VDS, Nicky Katzberg. He's in trouble as well by the looks of things.
Smoke coming off the right rear. Also, one of the cars making its way down into turn 13. So that's had contact from behind. Don't know which car it is. Trying to catch it.
Is it? Look, it's Nicky Mayer-Melnoff. It's Nicky Mayer-Melnoff. That's going to put him out of the championship hunt. Oh, what a shame for Nicky. He's got the smoke pouring out the rear right-hand side, and surely he will have to come into the pits now with that.
But how did he get so far down? Was he one of the cars?
He must have been involved in the first corner.
First or second corners.
He's staying out there though. He's not coming into the pits. It looked as though there was a problem with that car. Maybe it's just a bit of tyre rubbing. You saw that it was the McLaren. It was the Hexis McLaren. So across the line at the end of a frantic lap 1, Stefan Ortelli leads. 9/10 of a second clear of Frederic Verviche, who's up into second place. He started 11th on the grid. Marcus Finkelhock is third, having started 9th on the grid. Alexander Sims is fourth in the other Boots and Ginion McLaren. Nick Tandy is in 5th position. Sebastian Loeb, credit to him, up into 6th place. Great stuff from Nick Tandy actually in the 41 Porsche to be up into 5th position. There is Sebastian Loeb coming through. 7th is Matthias Stump. 8th then is Maximilian Boot. 9th is Ricardo Zonta. 10th is Frank Stippler.
Look at the right, the left rear tyre of the BMW, absolutely shredded as a consequence of contact.
Look how close the Porsche is. Does he give him a little love tap there?
Well, he's all over the rear of the McLaren, and clearly Nick Tandy feels he's got the quicker car. He feels that the McLaren is not running at the pace the Porsche is capable of doing, and therefore he's being held up, and his options around this racetrack are fairly limited. The best chance is going to come now on the exit out of the chicane through the flat-out right left-hand turn 16. try and get into the rear wing of the McLaren ahead of you, and hopefully Alexander Sims doesn't be too combative. Well, he doesn't even need to be, because Nick Tandy didn't get close enough, but he gets close under brakes. And again, down into turn 3
What's
will be
happened to
another
Stefan
opportunity.
Ortelli? Stefan Ortelli, sorry to interrupt you, he's dropped back into 3rd position. I didn't quite spot what happened there. Oh, and we've got another spin for a BMW. Can't quite make out which one that is, but this is all of a sudden the battle for the race lead, at least. Now here's a look at the replay.
Oh,
goodness
me. Ever a chance of what was going on, and that's
the 10.
Is that Parisi?
Yes, that's Zuber. So that was Nicky Meyer-Melnov smashing his way past Andy Zuber, and we've got a bit of the curbing come away at the very quick chicane in inverted commas.
I think they're going to have to keep an eye on that, because if one bit of that curbing does break up, then you can be guaranteed.
Safety car deployed.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. That's going to be the beginning of the end of that bit of curbing.
There is Nicky Meyer-Melnov. He's coming to the pits now with so much damage on that car. He took a hit to the right, and then he took a hit to the left when he tried to get past Andy Zuber as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was a no-brainer. I mean, why Nicky felt, and what's that
There
car?
is Zuber's car, so he obviously didn't make it back.
No, he didn't make it back. That was a big, I didn't think he could have made it back, because that was a substantial hit on the right-hand side.
Here's a look at the start then. Afanasiev flies around on the outside, but now what happens to Afanasiev? Does he get pushed into that spin? Because he seemed to be sideways down at the first corner. There's the contact on the left-hand side between Afanasiev. Oh, and they have another hit, but it's Winkelhock in the middle. There's just 4 cars.
I think that, I'm not sure, but I look like it's one of the BMWs might have tagged the back of the Mercedes.
There it is. It's those 5 cars all coming together.
It was the BMW,
and then they go into the back of Afanasiev.
It was the BMW that tagged the back of the Brazil BMW that tagged the back of Afanasiev and the Mercedes. That set off that chain reaction in the middle of turn 1 to turn 2.
The safety car's already in the pits, so Vervish is biding his time.
He's gone.
They come up towards the final chicane. Bit of a gap back to Claudio Stanisvich. He hasn't gone yet, John. He's still there. I'm surprised.
He's gone now. Go on, get on with it.
He's still. No, he's right at behind. He's going in the pits.
Well spotted, John.
Oh, good work, John. So that means that Marcus Winkelhock decides when to start racing again, and suddenly he goes, oh, hello, will do, and off he goes.
That was a real joker play from Verdish in the lead car.
And it's great stuff from Nick Tandy, because he's trying to get past Alexander Sims, and he does. Up into 2nd position on the run down to the first chicane.
And he's going to have a look at getting 1st position down into turn 3, because the Porsche seems very strong off the slower corners, goes to the right.
Winkelhock goes
side by side, and this is getting very, very testy. And Alexander Sim could be the beneficiary of this if he's had any luck at all.
Yeah, but it doesn't quite work out that way. So Marcus Winkelhock leads. Frederick Vervish came into the pits. It said, now my only concern is it said pit window. Yeah, I think he did have a problem, because it said pit window delayed. It didn't say that they could start again. So Marcus Winkelhock is leading the race, and we've just had confirmation from Racing Royal. The pit window is not open until now.
It's open now.
Now it is.
Then you can come back in again.
So Sandstrom, Bell in the Hexis McLaren, and crucially, Laurence Vanthor, they've done their pit stop window, but they're going to have to come back in again.
Well, they get a penalty. They'll get a time penalty or something, or a drive-through penalty, or whatever.
We saw a stop-go penalty for the Audi earlier on today.
So here
Marcus Winkelhock leads anyway. Nick Tandy's in 2nd place, right up behind him as they come down to the first chicane. Can Tandy get a good exit and trying to attack down into the hairpin? The left-hander at turn 3. He's not going to be quite close enough, I don't think.
I tell you, I think he's going to have a go into turn 4.
Here he goes. No, just at the last minute, Winkelhock comes across.
Watch the acceleration off the corner. He's going to have a go. He's trying to get up alongside the Audi. He can't do it. He's not close enough to make a slingshot down the inside into turn 4 on this occasion. But I think he's going to try it, because it is feasible. If you can get alongside the car before you turn, then you're in pound seat.
Out of the pits now comes Sandstrom, and that's a disaster for them. Because also, if they'd have been fine and stayed out, they went in before the window opened, so they had to come back in. But if that hadn't happened, they'd have the chance of winning the title now because of Ortelli and Vanthor coming in. Well,
they didn't see the script.
Oh, is that problems?
There's a problem with the Porsche. Yeah, there's blue smoke, or certainly something coming from the rear quarter, or the left rear quarter.
But a drive-through penalty for Marcus Winkelhock and Alexander Sims.
Damaged the radiator. That's what's happened.
Sims, Winkelhock, and Tandy have all got drive-through penalties as well.
Yeah, there we are. The Porsche is always very, very vulnerable to contact right anywhere around the nose. There it is. There's the damage to the nose. You can see where the contact was made.
Here comes the Audi into the pits then. Markus Winkelhock, nothing can quite go right for him. That means Maximilian Buch flashes through into the lead of the race. That Mercedes you just saw come past.
I think Maximilian Buch and the team realised that they've got to keep Buch in the car for as long as possible so that when Alain Day gets in, his stint is going to be shorter, surprisingly. But you maximise the best of what you've got.
And that's Alvaro Parenti's gone straight on, up at turn 8.
What is Alvaro doing?
Here's the replay.
Way!
That was so fast.
I'm unbelievable. I mean, he just never even overshot the braking zone.
The pit stop for Stefan Ortelli was okay, actually. We have been told that the pit stop window was open when the safety car came in. Enzo Ede has lost 2 positions on that last lap to Michael Ammermuller and Kevin Estre. In what is now the battle over 7th position between Ammermuller and Estre. There's the 3rd place car, then Alvaro Parent. Then it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. Here we go. Estre going past Ammermuller for 7th position down into the hairpin. This is where the battles are on the circuit as Parent starts to pull away. This is a replay of René Rast going past Laurens Vanthoor.
You can keep an eye on this because I've been curious to see where Kevin Estre has been making all these manoeuvres. Certainly he's got the confidence to do so, and coming through turn 10, getting close to the back of the Lamborghini, and it's going to be a pop down the inside. He's going to go one way, he's going to try and dive back, but the Lamborghini's making it awkward, but he's going to get he's got alongside. He's done it. I mean, that's just confidence. I mean, the car is a good car, but he's using it in a way I've never seen the McLaren driven here this weekend.
There's Thierry Boutsen on the right-hand side, and he has been part of getting this whole Baku street event together. His Boutsen and Gignon cars haven't had the best of times. Sims is down in 12th place. Look how close Enzo Ede is.
Bumps, and that's Enzo Ede just hit the back of Michael Ammermuller. Well, I tell you, Michael Ammermuller and Enzo Ede together are going to be an amusing pairing to watch. And that was a message to Michael Ammermuller from young Enzo to say, I'm quicker than you and I want you to let me go through.
Look at this, the battle for the lead is closing in. It's only, well, it was well, that's interesting. It was 2.8 seconds.
Yeah, on the previous lap, both
but they're
drivers,
only in the first sector.
Yeah, but on the previous lap, both drivers had done the same time. So the gap probably at that point was very little change from when it was in the former lap.
But
now,
this is half a second, John.
Yeah, I agree, but that's the fact.
But that's 2 seconds will have been taken out in the first sector here. Yep, a 55.9. So Alan Day's made a mistake in the first sector.
Absolutely.
And now that allows Laurens Vanthoor to be right behind him. Maybe Day's got a problem because he's letting him through.
I suspect he might have picked up a puncture or cut a tyre. That's one of the problems with the way the curbing has been left in the 11 and 12 section of the circuit. And as Alain Day now going to have to make a pit stop, because clearly you could see an acceleration at a turn 9 up through turn 10, that the pace that the Audi had, it wasn't just acceleration. There's a problem for Alain Day with the Mercedes.
So out of the hairpin comes Alan Day. That means that Laurens Vanthoor and Stefan Ortelli are into the lead of this race. It looked for a moment as though they'd be pretty much out of it, but now they are in the lead of it. What a topsy-turvy afternoon we've had. What a topsy-turvy weekend we've had here in Baku. He's staying out, though, the Mercedes, so it must be nothing, too serious.
The thing that made me worry was that his acceleration out of turn 9 up to turn 10, the Audi just gobbled it up and had no problem getting past, which under normal circumstances you would not expect to see happening.
And look, here's Kevin Estre. He's right into the party now as he tries to get past the Lamborghini. There's the Mercedes, followed by the McLaren. Then the other McLaren of Kevin Estre coming up the hill. Sebastian Loeb trying to see the television. I'm doing something very similar in the commentary box right now. But we've got less than 5 minutes to go.
Sebastian Loeb is going to be held up by the Mercedes, and the run has gone to Kevin Estre. Watch Kevin Estre coming through turn 16, then the run down into turn 1. He's going to get a run at Alvaro Parent to take away that second place. Parent's going to go defensive, but as Estre, he's not close enough to make a punt at this particular occasion, but he's got a number of parts of the track where he's done it cleanly and successfully.
But here they come then. Is Alan Day going to fight them? He seemed to let Laurens Vanthoor go through fairly comfortably. Here comes the look from Parent. That's a bit of a lunge. Is he going to get that stopped? He is. Kevin Estre shows his nose up the inside. Oh, Parent's getting spun around here. He goes into Estre. Estre goes through. Alan Day did not realise Kevin Estre was up the inside there. And Sebastian Loeb, unimpressed.
Well, it was a very, very tight squeeze. Kevin Estre got the car right in against the wall and may well have been blindsided because Alain Day couldn't have seen it, but there we see what's happened, and the potential damage to the back of the McLaren. That talk about Alvaro Perez, and he's still behind the Mercedes, and Kevin Estre's gone through.
Yep, so second position, I should say, for Kevin Estre.
Bodywork,
yeah,
that right?
unsurprising.
Left front is just about hanging in there with 3.5 minutes to go. It'll be okay until the end. Look again,
so
on
look,
the inside.
But the Mercedes doesn't know that second McLaren's in there.
And in a sense, it was because Kevin Estre was on the inside that Alain Day was, he didn't know where to go. He couldn't turn right.
And
well, there's the bodywork now falling off the McLaren. You can see just the pressure of the wind has peeled it back.
Through turn 10. And Mike Parisi also hasn't been able to get past Alain Day, so what has happened to Alain Day? I'm not quite sure. That's great to see. Ortelli and Stippler embracing. They battled hard for the championship, but they weren't quite able to do it. Stippler and Sandstrom. They're going to finish this race in 12th position, which is 9th overall. Here comes Laurens Vanthoor into the final corner. A difficult race. Somehow he has won it, and somehow he and Stefan Ortelli are the 2013 FIA GT Series champions. An incredible race to end the season. Chaos on the streets of Baku when there isn't a racetrack. Chaos on the streets of Baku when there is a racetrack. It's been absolutely superb. Chaos in the Audi pits as well. Pierre Dieudonné and Stefan Ortelli embrace. Tears from Pierre Dieudonné. Donuts for Laurens Vanthoor for the crowd here in Baku. And disappointment for Edward Sandstrom and Frank Stippler as well. Ortelli kisses the car. They've won qualifying races twice, but they've never actually won the main race. Now they have, and they're the Blancpain Endurance Series champions. They were John.
What a wonderful day for you. Congratulations. But what a race.
Yeah, I honestly didn't understand anything about the race. They sent me, I was P1, they say, yeah, you're kidding me, but apparently yes, and I don't know what happened, and I was just driving to save everything, not to make any mistakes, not to touch anything, because we want to win the championship with Audi and WRT, and that's what we did, and that's everything what matters, and the win is great, so speechless.
Stefan, congratulations, but what a crazy opening lap.
Yeah. I'm not thinking about this first lap. I'm thinking about street circuit. It's always harder, and it's the 4th title in 4 years for WRT Audi, and we are just proud to be part of this family, part of this team. The first lap was difficult, but at the same time fantastic. And then I had yeah, it's difficult to do the job you have to do for a championship when you are in a street circuit. Bravo, Laurent. Wow.
I didn't understand anything about the race. Join the club, Laurens. Here's a look at the results after 30 laps of frantic racing. Stefan Ortelli and Laurens Vanthoor win the race and win the championship with their first championship race win of the season. Rob Bell and Kevin Estre finishing second for Hector's McLaren. Superb stuff for them. Max Buch and Alain Day finishing in third place, and that may well push them up into third place in the championship, but we'll have to wait and see. Dominic Baumann and Harry Prochik finishing in 5th place and winning the Pro-Am class ahead of Stefan Rosina and Philippe Sledecka, who I think will be very happy with a 6th place finish, considering they started 21st on the grid. Here's the final points then. Stefan Ortelli and Laurens Vanthoor win the FIA GT Series of 2013. Edward Sandstrom and Frank Stippler finish in 2nd place ahead of Nicky Meyer-Melnhoff with Alain Day 4th. Sebastian Loeb and Alvaro Perez finishing 5th in the championship. René Rast drops down to 6th place. Maxi Buch with that 3rd place finish finishes in 7th position ahead of Mike Parisi and Andy Zuber, whose race ended very early on after an aggressive manoeuvre from Nicky Meyer-Melnhoff. As far as the team's classification is concerned, Belgian Audi Club wrapped up the championship earlier on, defeating Sebastian Loeb Racing comfortably in the end. BMW Sports Trophy Team Brazil finishing in 3rd position ahead of HTP Gravity Cherouz. The president of Aztecs Nika hands over the trophies to our race winners and champions of 2013. The Azerbaijani flags flying high. And this is how the Pro-Am season finished. Sergei Afanasyev and Andreas Simonsen winning, only 3 points clear of Harry Procek in the end, so that retirement for Afanasyev is a good job they wrapped it up yesterday. Dominic Baumann finishing in 3rd place. Cesar Campanico 4th in the standings, with Wolfgang Reip and Alex Buncombe 5th and 6th. Here are the winners' trophies for the 2nd time this year. Dominic Baumann and Harry Procek. Procek going so close to the title, but the Austrians will have to settle for 2nd in the Pro-Am Championship. There you can see the Pro-Am category standings. HTP Gravity Cherouz dominating the standings ahead of the Nissan GT Academy Team RJN, who unfortunately couldn't make it here this weekend. Real shame, but they had clashing commitments in Japan. ACL by Road Drive finishing in 3rd place in the standings ahead of Von Ryan Racing and Team Nova driver who picked up a point. There is the Gentleman Trophy points. Petr Cherouz and Jan Stovicek winning the Gentleman Trophy this season. Claudio Stanisic finishing in 2nd place, with Michele Rugolo, who's been very impressive, finishing in 3rd position. Federico Leo finishing in 4th place. We had Barthez appear at the 1st event of the season. So that's it for the FIA GT Series of 2013. But the champions of this year, Laurens Vanthoor and Stefan Ortelli, a superb performance from them. Thank you from myself, Jack Nichols, John Watson alongside me, everybody at SRO and the TV crew. Thank you for joining us this year. Make sure you join us in France in April of 2014. See you then.